go.
Welcome to Wide Eyes, a podcast made to uplift and educate others about the Asian American community. My name is Anu.
I'm Katie.
And this is New, and we are the creators of Wide Eyes.
Let's start off by telling a little bit about ourselves to our audience. So, and how White Eyes came about. So we're just a group of friends who saw a voice or a need for more Asian American representation in our community. And that's how White Eyes came to be.
And another thing about Wide Eyes is that basically this is our podcast, and this podcast is that we want to dedicate this as a platform to amplify the voices of the Asian American community, and also to uplift, educate, and also just to share the experiences of the Asian Americans in our own narratives.
And I feel we obviously have a lot of we have more Asian representation now than ever before, but I still feel there's this lack of voice or representation for youth. And so I feel we not calling ourselves youths, but we're
we still are, just think about it.
Yeah. we're still young,
we're still in our 20s.
Yes,
and thriving.
Yes, we are young, thriving. Yes, that's right. But I feel we have this really cool perspective of the younger generation, and the generation that is wanting a change right now, and I feel where we could actually potentially take this on for generations to come, and I feel that's us.
Yeah, awesome. I totally, agree to what Anu mentioned. And not just that, but we saw this need for an open dialogue. And through this, we're able to do that. And with everything that's been currently happening in the Asian American community, I feel this is needed more than ever, even though it may not be for others, but for us personally, it's something that we feel that we are able to connect to our API community.
And I would like to add we're telling this in our own voice and our own narratives. We've had people tell us how we should feel. We have people speak on our behalf, and it's just we're tired of that. It's not our true story, it's not our true voice, and I feel that's why another reason why we've come to do a podcast, so we can have these real conversations in our own narratives.
Yeah,
exactly.
no,
I want
definitely.
I want to add on to that, saying that this is why we say in our own narratives, in our mission, because I feel everyone, their feelings and their experience are valid. But through our podcast, we just want to shed a little light of what we went through, and hopefully our audience can relate to what we're going through.
True. Snaps to that. Not sure y'all could hear this, but snaps to that.
And so I guess that's we kind of elaborated on how we came about, so maybe we could talk a little bit, either New or Katie, if you guys want to talk a little bit about our logo, because I feel at least for me, I feel it's creative, and it's really,
yes, it is.
We spent a lot of time thinking about it. So
okay, yeah, so for Wide Eyes, if you look at our logo, Wide Eyes, it's a common stereotypes, and throughout our lives we've encountered many of them, and and especially with this pandemic, it has hit hard, especially to the API community or the Asian American community in general, especially with our past president just saying the term that, oh, it's the Chinese virus or it's the Kung flu virus, and that has basically affected our Asian American community in a way that negatively impacts us, and not just emotionally, physically, but also mentally. There's a different factors that goes into this, and I just want to say that with these common stereotypes, it's a negative connotation, but with Wide Eyes, we want to use this negative connotation and spin it into a positive connotation.
Yeah, I just want to add that there's a lot of statements that people use, not just in the Asian American community, but other ethnic groups too. And people don't realize that words can hurt, certain individual or groups, and it lasts for a long time, and it can lead to traumas. And some example that on top of my head that I feel the three of us can relate or hear or witness, or just people say you're from China or you're Chinese. I hear this the most, you eat dogs and cats. People will ask me, do you eat dogs And I'm like, no. But I know some people do. Like I'm like honest with my answer, because I'm not gonna like be ashamed of my culture. So I will be honest about it as well. And like others are like chinks, or that we can't drive because our eyes are small.
I literally just watched this video that Tim Chongtarong, he just posted up, and he literally just says like the one that he's most tired of is people saying that like we eat dogs, right? And it's just, I feel like we just grew up with it, and it's been so normalized, just like we don't second guess. It's like, oh, I guess, like like laugh it over, and just to get over that awkwardness of like, I guess we eat dogs, right? But it's as for me, I feel like as I've gotten older, I've wide eyes, right? I've become kind of like, I realize that we shouldn't be normalizing this, it's why should I be, laughing over the shoulder, or why should I be accepting like, I guess this is just what people do, right? It's not okay, and it's just generalizing, and it's just so much more, and it's not okay. I guess we can dive a little deeper. So if you notice our logo, we have like an upside down E. And that's just kind of a little play of, how we, as Mu mentioned, like wide eyes, how yes, we have wide eyes, but in the sense that, we see the bigger picture, and we just realize that there's so much more to being Asian than just our wide eyes, right? So kind of like the E, the upside down E, it plays on that reflection of, there's so much more than to what meets the eyes.
No, definitely. And another thing that I like to add is that if you look at our logo, white eyes, what's behind of that is basically we, the initials, that basically stands for wide eyes. And that in the background basically represents like we as Asian Americans as a whole, but it's also another like play on the idea that when you do look at the stereotypes of white eyes, there is so much more to what you see on the surface.
So to add on to what Anu mentioned earlier about the upside down E, I wanted to like talk a little about, for me, I personally, when I see the upside down E, I feel like it's a reflection of my past self. And then the other E is like my new self. And I remember we were talking when we were creating our logo name and our like slogan, we were thinking about reclaiming my identity. And that like kind of struck to me when I look at the E as a reflection. It just reminded me I'm kind of like, reclaiming my own identity by seeing that reflection of the upside down E. And it plays a part of, why we're saying that we're beyond Asian and in our own narratives, looking beyond as not just Asian American woman, but more to that.
Agree. Snaps to that, Katie.
Yes,
And
Katie.
this
Yes, new and
basically,
a new.
yes, yes. And this basically wraps up our conversation for our very first episode. So we can't wait to chat with all of you guys very soon in our next episode. So, stay tuned for that. And also feel free to check us out on our Instagram at Wide Eyes Podcast, to check out and stalk us and see what content we're doing and find out what day is our drop of our next episode. So yeah, everyone, thank you for listening.